Hello, so now we're on our second topic, which is corporate liquidation. Again, for the overview, we'll discuss about the types of corporate liquidation, the corporate liquidation process, and of course, how to compute for the statement of affairs. For the types of corporate liquidation, it can be either voluntary or involuntary. So, yung mga typical reasons for involuntary corporate liquidation is kapag nalulugi na yung company, kapag insolvent na siya, and mas malaki na yung liabilities niya over the assets or bankrupt na siya, losses na talaga. For the bankruptcy laws in the Philippines and US, meron tayong 1909 Insolvency Act of in the Philippines and FRIA, Financial Rehabilitation and Insolvency Act of 2010 na ni-replace niya yung 1909 Insolvency Act. In the US, we have the Bankruptcy Reform Act of 1978. For the liquidation process, para lang siyang ding partnership. You have winding up of operations, realization of non-cash assets, then payment of your creditors. Then, finally, distribute remaining cash to shareholders if may matira pa. For the statement of affairs, ano yung kakaiba sa corporate liquidation? For the assets, di ba, usually book value lang tayo including liabilities. Pero since hindi ka na nga going concern dito, you have a liquidating concern point of view. So, your assets should be stated at fair value or the recoverable value. And then the liabilities should be at maturity value. And then, yung classification mo ng assets, hindi na siya yung current, non-current. Ano na siya? First classification, assets pledged with fully secured creditors. Meaning, ito yung mga assets mo na nakaprenda, na naka-collateral against certain liabilities. Tapos, it's pledged with fully secured creditors kasi yung fair value ng assets, kayang-kaya niyang i-cover yung maturity value ng relevant liabilities mo. So, bayad na bayad si creditor mo. That's fully secured creditors. For the assets pledged with partially secured creditors, yung fair value ng assets na pinang-collateral mo, hindi siya enough. It's less than the maturity value of the relevant liability. Kaya partially secured lang yung creditors mo. For the free assets, these are assets na hindi naka-collateral, no collateral, so hindi siya naka-pledge. For the liabilities classification, so parang katulad lang din siya nung sa assets mo, you have unsecured liab, so meaning walang collateral tong mga liabilities na to. Pero bago mo bayaran yung mga iba pang creditors mo, you are required by law to settle these creditors first. So sino-sino yung mga yon? Liquidation or admin expenses, unpaid salaries and wages, unpaid taxes, and customers deposits. So, sila yung first group na dapat bayad bago mo bayaran in full, nabayad in full. Bago mo bayaran itong mga susunod. Sino yung mga susunod? The fully secured liabilities. So, sila yung liabilities pledged to the assets, dun sa assets pledged with fully secured creditors. So, sila yon, bayad na bayad tong liabilities na to. Partially secured, ito naman yung kambangga dun sa assets pledged with partially secured creditors. Sila yung liabilities doon. For the remaining liabilities na walang collateral, na walang nakaprendang relevant asset, these are unsecured liabilities without priority. Okay, so ano ba yung relevant numbers dito? You have first to compute for the net free assets. Computed as free assets, yung walang pledge, plus excess ng fully secured liabilities. Remember, yung sa liabilities mo, mas malaki yung value ng asset over the liability. So, yung excess noon ng asset na, yung market value ng asset over the liability, pwede mo pang ipangbayad sa general creditors mo or unsecured creditors. Minus the unsecured liabilities with priority kasi dapat bayaran mo muna siya before everyone else. So, para malaman mo kung magkano yung marirecover ng mga unsecured creditors mo, you have to get first the percentage of recovery computed as net free assets over total unsecured liabilities without priority. And your total unsecured liabilities without priority is yung excess doon sa partially secured liabilities na hindi mako-cover, hindi mapabayaran ng naka-pledge na asset, plus the unsecured liabilities without priority. Okay, let's Okay, so compute tayo ng problems. Given yung balance sheet, then yung details for the pledged assets and the relevant liabilities, hinahanap sa'yo is how much are the net free assets. So again, to compute for the net free assets, your formula is free assets plus the excess of the fully secured liabilities minus the unsecured liabilities with priority. Okay, so you have assets and liabilities. Tingnan natin. First, estimated NRV of the notes receivable was 105. Tapos meron ka pang interest dun sa last paragraph na 10,000. So that's 115,000. Versus your mortgage payable of 155 plus 15. So that's 170. Mas malaki pa din yung mortgage payable mo. So that's partially secured liability. Next, 80% of the book value of inventories can be sold at 45 market value. Liability, 60% of accounts payable, which is 80 times 0.6. That's 48. 48 versus 45, mas malaki pa rin yung liability mo. So that's you have 40. That's why you have 48,000 partially secured liability. Next, remaining inventories have an estimated fair value of 20,000. So no pledge naman, no collateral. So that's free asset. Next, 80% of the remaining unpaid payable. Kanina 'di ba may 60%. So may natitira ka ngayon na 40%. Yung 80% daw nun ay naka-secured. Magkano 'yon? That's 80,000 times 80% times 40%. So, 25,600. Naka-secured siya over your equipment with the fair value of 60,000. So, mas malaki yung equipment na fair value. You have fully secured liability. The next, prepaid expense, no fair value. So, definitely, write-off mo yan. Liquidation, admin expenses, income tax payable. Okay, compute natin si net free assets. For the free assets, you have cash, 8,000. And then sa inventories na 20% na hindi naka-pledge na fair value is at 20,000. Total, 28,000. Then for the excess of the fully secured liabilities, you have accounts payable na yung 25,600 yung fully secured liability na nakita natin kanina. Equipment na 60,000 yung fair value. You have an excess of 34,400. For the unsecured liabilities with priority, you have liquidation and admin expenses 8,000, income tax payable 2,000, and pag nakita mo dun sa trial balance, meron ka pang salaries payable na 15,000. So, total unsecured liabilities with priority is 25,000. Net free assets is computed as 28,000 free assets plus excess of fully secured liabilities 34,400 minus your unsecured liabilities with priority 25,000 for total of 37,400. Okay, so that's it. If you have questions, please do let me